Greetings once again, pirates on the high seas. Duuz-Diz-Din back with more One Piece. In the previous chapter, people continue to listen to Vegapunk's message to the world about the ongoing disaster and the stories of ancient times, about a world submerged under the sea, long forgotten. We even saw Krieg, Pearl, and Geen, oddly enough. We also saw that several of the Sword members are recovering after the events on the Hachinosu Beehive Island, alongside Tashigi, and seemingly Drake is there as well, still recovering from the Onigashima incident. Meanwhile, Smoker is out at sea, and seems like he might be heading Tashigi's way, and he's hauling something on his billow bike. Meanwhile, back at Egghead up in the Labo phase, while Zoro and Jinbei start to make their way to the Thousand Sunny, drawing in close, so is Ethan Bear and Venus Juro, who's looking to slice up the Thousand Sunny. It's thanks to a combined effort of Jinbei and Zoro that they're able to counter him, with both Zoro and Nosjuro noticing that they both wield Katetsu blades. With Zoro realizing just how dangerous their opponent is, he tells the others to cast off, while Zoro and Jinbei do their best to hold back Nosjuro. Meanwhile, Dory and Brogy tell their crew to do the same in order to break through the marine blockade. However, before they can set sail, Bluegrass uses the Sea Beast weapon that she's brought under her control to blast a hole in the side of their ship, while Dahl jumps aboard and manages to knock out Kashin. All the while, now knowing that the transponder snail broadcasting Vegapunk's message is inside the Iron Giant, the other elders go on the attack. And just as Vegapunk's message gets around to a specific bit of information directed to those who bear the mark of D, Warcury rams into the Iron Giant, disrupting the message and cutting it off. And while the message isn't much concern to the Straw Hats themselves, their desperate escape is still being impeded at every turn. And once the elders manage to deal with the Iron Giant, it's obvious their attention will turn towards our heroes. But will the Iron Giant really be taken out that easily? Join me as I find out, won't you? Alright, One Piece chapter 1118. The Most Free. You see Yamato setting out from the Flower Capital, already chowing down on one of their bentos, of course, with many a person cheering them in the background. And Yamato has already gotten in the good graces of the people of Wano. At least the people in the capital. It's Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 8. The journey begins. I am curious what twists and turns this story will take, because there's always a surprise when it comes to these cover stories. And it's been a hot minute since we've had one, and not since finding out what happened to Caesar after Whole Cake. Alright, let's jump in. We see after the Iron Giant was struck by Warcury, it was sent flying all the way to one of the marine ships. Oh, several of the marine ships because it's so big, crashing on top of so many of them. The marines on the ships panic, saying, "Abandoned ship! What is that metal monstrosity? It's gonna sink us!" Ah! Vegapunk's message is disrupted, with only the words "that name" being barely heard before it cuts out as the transponder snail is knocked around. As the Iron Giant sinks into the water, it thinks, "Where? Joy Boy, where did you go? Wanna see you. You were there, Joy Boy. Strange, so strange." I detected Luffy. Meanwhile, the other marine vessels see Warcury's giant boar form, and they freak out, saying, "And what is that? A boar? A mammoth? What's happening on Egghead?" As the message has cut out, the civilians questioned technical issues? He was still saying something. What would have caused the transmission to stop? And why would Vegapunk have died in the first place? We cut to Alabasta, where we see Koza and his father Toto watching in silence as the townspeople say, "Did someone assassinate him? He did say that he committed sin. You don't think the world government had him erased, do you? No way. Did you already forget? Perhaps Luffy was the one who was holding Vegapunk prisoner. If anyone did it, it's obviously a pirate." Yeah, it's obvious. Koza and Toto, they know Luffy well enough to know he wouldn't have done something like that, but still. We even cut to Whiskey Peak, where we see Mr. Nine and Miss Monday as well as their little baby. Someone saying, whatever crime Vegapunk might have done, the government would never eliminate the greatest genius in the world. Yeah, that's what they want you to think. Meanwhile, in Dressrosa, Leo questions, "Do you think Luffy landed it? And Rebecca says a very stern no. Meanwhile, back on Egghead, someone calls out to York. York gets the message saying, huh? What? The person says, how many Vegapunks are still alive? York says, Vegapunks. Aside from me, the number of people accessing punk records is 2. Oh, so Edison really did pass. Hey, the only one left are Lilith. Well, besides York, Lilith, and Atlas. York says Lilith is on this floor. Atlas is at the northeast shore. We see Workery go one way, while Saturn and Mars go another. Workery questions, should we eliminate them all? It's either Saturn or Mars who says yes. Even with the Stella dead, Punk Records is designed to continue growing. York's development benefits us, but we need no other geniuses. As long as they have York, they have everything they need. Kill the rest. Meanwhile, we see the giant warrior ship managing to set sail, just utterly rolling over every marine vessel in their way, as the giants say, set sail, let's get out of here. While Dory and Brogy, as well as Luffy, manage to make their way to the shore, saying, let's go, jump on board. And they manage to jump onto the back of the ship just in the nick of time. The giants say, whoa, the captain, you made it back. Brogy saying, of course we did. And Bonnie calls out to Luffy. Luffy cheers as he stands on the deck, saying, ooh, we're on the giant ship. It's huge. Is Usopp here yet? What about Chopper? While Sanji and Frankie greet Dory and Brogy, the Marines try to follow, saying, damn it, after them. Don't let them get away. We have too many ships for this. But the giants are just too strong. And more importantly, are you alright, Vice Admiral Doll? We see both Doll and Bluegrass, as well as the sea beast weapon that Bluegrass was using, now turned into little babies, children, and they're utterly adorable. Another Marine calls out to Vice Admiral Bluegrass, while Doll laments the situation, saying, darn you, Bonnie. Bluegrass is bewildered, saying, it sucks being so powerless. What a ridiculous ability. A ridiculous ability, much like Joy Boys, eh? Bonnie jumps up on the railing of the ship to kind of, mock Doll and Bluegrass, saying, you were setting yourself up for trouble when you let me escape, Navy. Meanwhile, Oimo goes over to the utterly beaten down Kashin, saying, yeah. She really whooped you good, Kashin. Well, Luffy jumps over to Oimo and Kashi, greeting them. Meanwhile, Sanji tries to radio into the others, saying, this is Sanji. We're already sailing, Nami. How's it looking up there? Nami says, we're about to leave. While Oimo greets Luffy, saying, Straw Hat. Unless we meet again. Meanwhile, back in the Labo phase, the Sunny is still teetering on the edge, while Nami communicates with Sanji, saying, thanks to Edison, we should be able to land in the water, but if it looks like we won't make it, help. And you can see Ethan Bear and Venus Gerald battling against Zora and Jinbei in the background. Sanji tells Nami, of course, even if everyone else sinks, I'll do anything to save you and Robin and Lilith. Usopp says, no, save all of us. Frankie says, don't worry, I'll rescue the ship. And Usopp says, rescue us too. Frankie joined in on the gag. Meanwhile, giants notice Marcus Mars approaching in his giant bird form, saying, something's coming from the center of the island. Mars hones in, going in for the attack. And Sanji readies himself, saying, the Five Elders again? He had figures they wouldn't give up yet, with Bonnie stunned. Meanwhile, Luffy is with, the chef of the giant warrior pirates, and he is chowing down on some meat. The chef says, hey, wait a sec, are you Straw Hat Luffy? The captain said I should cook a bunch of food because you eat a lot. I was going to serve it up to you guys later. Luffy says, sorry, need it now. Please cook some more. And the chef says, ooh-ya-ya, you got a big appetite for a little fella. Oh, you don't know the half of it. Meanwhile, Marcus Mars unleashes a blast of fire from his mouth, and the giant warrior pirates put up their shields to defend, saying, protect the puny humans. Yeah, that's hot. It looks like the flames are too intense, as the giants who were defending catch on fire, screaming out. The other giants say, Bjorn, Sig, you all right over there? Put out the fire! Get water! Don't let the sails catch! Meanwhile, the Marines who are given chase see this going on, questioning, huh? What is that monstrous bird? Sanji sees the downed giants catching on fire, saying, I appreciate it. You saved us, giants. While Bonnie rushes over to Kuma being tended to by Atlas. He says, we should move Vegapunk and Daddy. Don't let them get burned. Atlas says, here, I'll do it. grabbing onto Kuma. Brogy says, guess we gotta do something about those monsters after all. While Dory says if it can fly, it'll just keep chasing us. Marcus Mars calls out, not a single one of you is going to escape. But suddenly there's a rumbling underneath the giant warrior pirate ship. Frankie questions, huh? Oh, you hear the sound of the drums of liberation as the waves begin to ebb and flow and bounce, throwing the giant warrior pirates as well as the marine vessels up into the air, knocking them over. The marines shout, ah, it's an earthquake! While Luffy's voice calls out, all right, nice and full now. Let's go. Follow the beat. The marines question, huh? First the sound starts, now we're floating above the water as their ships are bounced up above the waves. Mars takes notice of this ability, while Luffy, now back in Gear 5, calls out to Bonnie. Bonnie's shocked, saying, whoa, Nika? While Luffy says, who's that anyway? Well, despite their ship catching on fire, much to Sanji's bewilderment, Dory and Brogy start dancing the Nika dance, with Dory saying, hey, that's a festival rhythm, while Brogy says, stop dancing and put out the fire, dummy. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. He says while he's also dancing. Luffy tells Bonnie, let's go. You want to beat those guys up, don't you? Bonnie says, but I can't. Just look at them. And Luffy tells her, I don't know how your powers work, but you can do it. Oh, she's not about to. And Bonnie remembers when she asked Luffy about his wanted poster, and Luffy told her, that's what I look like when I'm free. Bonnie realizes this. Holy crap. Uses distorted future where I'm the most free. And she also goes into Gear 5, Nika form, with Kuma. Who knows how much of his consciousness is left, remembering when he first picked up the baby Bonnie saying, don't worry, Guinea, I'll raise your daughter. And as Bonnie bounds forth in the Gear 5th Nika form, Luffy laughs, saying, now you got it, Bonnie. Oh my god, like, that's the thing. The power of her fruit. Anything is possible. She just has to believe. That's literally it. You just gotta believe. And the Marines watch this saying, what is that? While the giants cheer, saying, whoa, 2 Nikas. And as Bonnie and Luffy bounce around in the air, she says, yay, I did it. While the Marines question, giants in white? So they're even in giant form too. Jeez. Mars watches this. Obviously kind of like, wait, what? Oh man. Saturn, you really kind of shot yourself in the foot by giving Bonnie this ability. And Luffy tells Bonnie, let's go. Bonnie says, yeah. And as the drums of liberation resound throughout the seas, St. Jupiter and St. Warcreep sense it, thinking, a strange presence, act quickly. Meanwhile, as the drums of liberation continue to resound, the Iron Giant, who is sunk to the bottom of the sea, creaks its neck up and thinks, there, oh baby. Man, I'm kind of taken off guard by this, but at the same time, there was always the chance this was a possibility. But I like that Oda is trying his best to make sure you understand this is conditional. Bonnie has to have belief. And under most circumstances, with the intimidating power of the elders and all that, you wouldn't have that belief. But it's because of Luffy. And Luffy inspires people to believe in themselves, believe that anything is possible. And that belief is infectious, and it infects Bonnie. And Bonnie believes that she can do it too. Luffy says she can do it, she believes it, and thus she does it. Although it's so interesting that Luffy immediately is just like, you should be able to do it too. But I guess it's because when he saw Bonnie pull off an attack like his, but not as powerful as his, it's like, no, that's not how you do it. You do it like this. It's just interesting to see Luffy directly just influencing someone, saying, no, you can do it too. There's just something about the way that was phrased. It just caught me so off guard. Luffy's just utter belief that she can do it, which you think after 1,000 chapters, I wouldn't underestimate Luffy's belief in others, but it's just kind of like, what? You're kidding me. Oh man, now the Iron Giant is locking in on them because it's just like now you got the signal in stereo. There's drums of liberation in stereo, man. And Bonnie's ability, being able to overpower even a vice admirals who should, under most circumstances, be able to power through that with their hockey. And most will probably change back a lot faster than most other Marines. But I'm not sure. And Bonnie has gotten so strong. So you got Mars and now Mercury and Jupiter heading for the ship. Because it's more than just taking out Atlas. At this point, they're going to be lucky if they take out Atlas. Because between Luffy going Gear 5, Bonnie going Gear 5, and the Iron Giant approaching the ship somehow. I don't know how it's gonna manage to pull its body out of the ocean, but who knows what it's capable of. I mean, it managed to climb up the red line, so I believe. I'm never gonna not believe again. I was kind of hoping that Doll and Bluegrass were gonna be a little bit more involved, but they should still be nearby enough, especially knowing that Doll has a connection to Saul. That I'm kind of like, okay, I want to see how deep that connection goes. And we see that Ethan Bear and Venostra is still up in the lava phase. The Sunny has yet to take off, which I'm getting worried about that one. And I don't like the idea of actually leaving behind Zoro and Jinbei, because, like, come on guys, we gotta all to get to Elbath. We just may end up arriving separately. At the very least, Lilith seems like she might be okay, because Ethan Barron kind of has his hands full. Edison might be out of commission, but he might just be damaged, and that's why he's not interfacing with Punk Records, so it's hard to say. And I have to wonder, did the transponder snail, will it be able to pick up the message if the Iron Giant manages to get above the waves, or is that it? Is it just kaput? And also, where's St. Saturn? That's the only one unaccounted for. I'm not sure if he'll be able to get back up to the lava phase to try to take out Lilith while Ethan Barron has his hands full. And it would be a lot more sensible to kind of split things up that way. Now, Nika is the most troublesome, so 3 that way, 2 to Lilith. Not to mention they still got to pick up York because they still want her and everything she has to offer. Man, this was a freaking far out chat. I really was not expecting that ending. Just Bonnie in the Nika form, like, it's something that I've heard and wasn't quite unexpected. There was the possibility people have been freaking out. It's just like, if she really ties into this ability, it could be very broken. But again, it's something so critically tied into belief. If you have doubt, you cannot access this ability to its fullest. So it does make me wonder, if she wanted to, could she access one of the Elders' abilities as well? You gotta believe. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you in the next one. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.